Hi everyone, welcome to another Employability Live. My name is Sam and I'm the founder of Turnheads. I'm joined by Wendy, who's the founder of Skills Mansion as well. And together we join forces every Wednesday to discuss employability skills in the creative industry by sharing our own lived experiences, insights and tips. By doing so, we hope that we inspire emerging creatives to find their first jobs or clients in the creative industries. Today, we are talking about the 3 best moves that got us our first creative jobs, and we're delighted to be joined by some special guests today. So, I would like to introduce Leo Young, who is the founder of Good Nugget, a positive impact design company that gives back, and Andrea Donna, who is the co founder of Hotline Design, who are a collective of industry professionals running a podcast and in person events to demystify creative jobs. So welcome everyone. Thanks so much for being here. Leo, I'd like to start with you, if I may. So could you tell us what 3 things stand out in your career journey as the moments that really helped you land your first creative job or client?
I think the most obvious one for me was almost when I first started sort of trying to break into the industry, and which didn't land on my lap too easily. So I guess the first thing would be, it's kind of 3 words here maybe, was my passion, my persistence, and so I can't even remember the third one now, but those 2 things kind of led to me sending my CV to lots of different agencies, looking for lots of different agencies to apply for work placements, looking for junior jobs and trying to get a response. I remember to land my first job, I sent my CV out to one agency 3 times, even before they got me through the door for an initial interview. And that was kind of the first time I sent it through. I thought to myself, okay, right, they didn't like it. It didn't connect with them. The design wasn't right. Something was wrong. So I changed it. I took a little bit of a break. I kind of didn't send it for another couple of months, resent it again, still no kind of message back or email. It was actually a physical kind of CV with some images of my work then, and still no answer. So I sent it a 3rd time, and then after that, I kind of got an interview from that, and I did a work placement, and that is where I landed my first job actually. So with real persistence, I kind of evolved my CV each time. I thought, okay, maybe it's not looking right. It isn't connecting with the people. Maybe there's just something not right with it. So I kept on changing it. And then through sheer persistence, I kind of just made sure that I just tried again because I really wanted to work for that agency. Ended up doing a workplace for them, and then they ended up offering me a job. So I guess, I don't know how many tips there are in that one, but I guess that was kind of my first thing that I wanted to talk about. But the second thing, I guess, was almost, enabling me to find my own voice. And I think that is a real kind of confidence thing in the creative industry. So not quite just landing my job, but it was almost the point where I felt as though I was comfortable being different or having a creative opinion. Particularly so in the workplace, you never know when you're supposed to speak up or not when you're a junior designer. But I think one of the designers or my creative directors, I said something like, oh, in that meeting, I wanted to ask that question. And they were like, why didn't you? Like, if you're thinking that, someone else in that meeting is. So really finding the confidence to ask questions in a meeting, whether it's internal or with a client, that was finding my own confidence and finding my voice to be able to ask those questions, obviously think about if it is a completely silly question, but understanding that my opinion was valid within the company. And that's why we're all creative, is because that we bring something very different to the table. So finding my voice was definitely something that I found throughout my creative journey, or landing my first job, how valuable I was and how much I meant as part of the team, which I thought was like a great kind of learning thing. And it's not something that kind of happens easily. I wasn't like naturally confident. I had to like build that up. And then also having a creative opinion, sort of like offering that in meetings, not being too shy to say something. And I think that was kind of finding my own voice and personality. So 2 or 3 tips there.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think it's, the persistency thing is such a good point as well, because just because you're happening to be looking for a job or an opportunity at that moment doesn't necessarily mean that that agency is quite ready or in the right kind of frame of mind, has got too much going on and all the rest of it. So it's not necessarily that you're you're not good enough. It's just right place, right time a lot of the time. So persistency is definitely key. Andrea, how about you?
Yeah, hi. So basically, I think my three tips are probably connected with what Leo just said, and the fact that it's really important to make sure that you show what you're really passionate about, what you're capable to do, and what you really like, because you have some creative tastes, and those are basically your own tastes, right? So I think it's really important to reflect those things, especially when you put together your portfolio. And at the beginning, one of the things that I did was to try to put as many projects as possible, just because you never know. You just want to show like how many things you can do. But then it turned out that actually when you go to an interview, you're invited to an interview, that person will probably pick one of the projects you didn't really like, and you just put that project there just as a number. So my first tip will probably just be careful and make sure that you include all the projects in the portfolio that you're really passionate about. So that will the other person on the other side will actually see that you really care about the project. The other thing is that, and sometimes it's difficult, especially if you don't have many projects to show, and you kind of want to, and you think, oh, what's going to happen? What am I going to show, or what should I do? Should I even apply? I think that especially if you are a junior designer, it's really important to understand that that specific company or agency is not necessarily looking for a specific skill, but the fact that you have some potential. So maybe even if you have a really good project, like out of 5 projects, that is also really good. So make sure that you're open-minded as well, and don't really rely too much on what you've done already, but really think about, okay, fine, am I really the right person for that company? Do they have the same kind of style that I want to develop, maybe? So I think that's really important. Once you get that, then it's a lot easier for you as well. I think it's less stressful as well. And then the third thing is that, so if you don't have a really long CV, you don't have much to say, or in terms of past experience, right? Or if your portfolio is really small, it doesn't really matter that you shouldn't really send over or apply for a specific job. If you really want to like make sure that they will remember you, I would suggest maybe create something unique. So I remember like back in the days when I started 10 years ago, I created an animation explaining, what I was capable of. It was a kind of an ad, done and animated, and it was like designed by me. And all I did was actually change the name of the company I was applying to. So, it's more personalized, and they will remember it. So you send over the CV, the portfolio, but they also have this nice introduction. Another thing I did lately was when I was looking for a job a couple of years ago, was actually print out my CV, a sort of CV/portfolio, as a newspaper, though. And there is a nice company that actually does that. So having this nice kind of different format than the usual A4 makes a difference as well. And you can also like push your branding as well. So I think these are basically my three tips.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and personalization to the company that you're sending all these things out to definitely goes a long way, doesn't it? You can spot the scattergun approach a mile off, can't you? So yeah, definitely. Wendy, how about you? What are your 3 things?
Yeah, I'm not very I didn't go through a conventional route. And I think that would be the one good move that I made. My background is not typically in the creative industry. I'm from a business strategy background. But I've always wanted to design. I've always wanted to be able to design. But my career has just taken me in one tangent. So when you're thinking of transferring into a new career, or you want to go into something that you haven't done before in your career, always don't go the conventional route. That's my advice, because that's what I did. And how I did that was instead of starting to apply for jobs, I started building my networks. So I spent a lot of time within the universities, met Sam, and through all of that work, helping students prepare for the world of work. working with design students, I started now getting very much exposed to more industry related things that are within sort of the creative industry. And I use my transferable skills in business to actually help students to see, for those who want to start a business, how to, build a strategy that will help you, become a creative that also integrates the business skill within what you're doing. And eventually, through building networks, I think the second thing that I would say is also making sure that as you're building those networks, you are also putting out there what your point of difference is. So my point of difference, anytime I went for any kind of event online, I would definitely bring out my skills in terms of my business strategy skills. And eventually, I think Leo and Andrea spoke about getting a CV or applying via a CV. I kind of got headhunted. I think that's what it was, because I was within these networks. And at the end of it, I'm now working for a company where I work with a lot of creatives. So I think I've got the best of both worlds. I still focus on the business angle, but I'm involved in a lot of projects that require development of platforms, of various things. And we have a lot of startups that come and they need help with developing a product, and that involves a lot of creative people that we work with. So now I'm completely immersed in it and I absolutely enjoy it. So yeah, the first tip is, if you're transferring into a new industry that you haven't worked in, sometimes unconventional means will work. Secondly, building your network. Sometimes applying via your CV is not the only route to getting you into a career. So you may need to go out and build networks from there. And thirdly, just find a niche where you can pick out your point of difference. So my difference was I come with a business angle, but I'm merging it with creative and design. And all the help that I'm offering students has really opened up my network and my mind into what the creative industries is all about. But those were the three things that I have to add.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thanks, guys, so much. So I've written down here, I've got persistence, finding your voice, showing passion and skill in your portfolio, being selective of the projects that you put in your portfolio, no experience, no problem, apply your best work and self-initiate projects to be unique, build your network, utilize your transferable skills, and you have a USP. So hopefully you've got something out of those tips. Please do comment and let us know what worked for you as well. Like, how did you get your first placement? How did you get your first job? We'd love to know. And if there's any other subjects that you want us to cover in future lives, also let us know that too. We always want to kind of cover stuff that you're kind of, really thinking about or you want more information on. So yes, thanks for joining us. Thank you to Andrea, to Leo, to Wendy, and do check out Hotline Design and Good Nugget and Skills Mention and Turnheads. I've put all the comments, all the details in the comments below, and we will see you again next week. Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.